Another important technique used to validate use cases is the CRUD technique, which involves verifying that all of the needed use cases have been identified to maintain the data represented by the domain model class diagram. CRUD is an acronym for Create, Read or Report, Update, and Delete, and it is often introduced with respect to database management. The analyst starts by looking at the types of data stored by the system, which are modeled as domain classes, as we've learned in Lesson 4. The CRUD technique is most useful when used as a cross-check along with the user goal technique. Users will focus on their primary goals, and use cases that update or archive data will often be overlooked. The CRUD technique makes sure all possibilities are identified. Sometimes domain classes are shared by a set of integrated applications. For example, in our example in the RMO system has a supply chain management application that is responsible for managing inventory levels and adding products. So the RMO CSMS will not need to create or delete products, but it will need to look up and update product information. It is important to identify other application that is responsible for creating, updating, or deleting the data to be clear about the scope of each system. So in this example, this shows an example of potential use cases based on the CRUD technique for RMO customer data. The CRUD technique is best to take already identified use cases and verify that there are use cases for create, read, update, and delete as a cross-check. So the create customer account creates customer object. A separate create customer use case is not needed. So update customer account is defined to archive a customer, so no separate archive customer use case is required. So another use of the CRUD technique is to summarize all use cases and all data entities or domain classes to show the connection between use cases and data. So in this figure or in this table, some of the use cases are matched with domain classes by including C, R, U, or D in the cell corresponding to the role of the use case in terms of data. So for example, the use case create customer account actually creates customer data and account data. So the C is included in those two cells. So the use case process account adjustments, reads information about the sale, read information about the customer, updates the account, and creates adjustment. So based on the information shown in this example, there are insufficient use cases to cover the sale and adjustment use cases. Domain classes. So the sale class will need to have additional use cases to create, update, and delete sale objects. In addition, The adjustment class will require use cases to update, report, and delete adjustment objects.